So welcome. Thank you for joining. And just so grateful to be here to share this gift we call doTERRA. It's such a gift. So I'd like to start out by getting to know, as I was saying, we've seen incredible growth in Australia, like really unprecedented expansion. And then there's been some, a lot of hard things in the market. And I'm not going to give any, I just want to hear from you. If you've had any kind of slowdown in your team, if you've seen, leaders drop off, if you've seen a decrease in your team volume, what would you say the number one reason is? And I've got a whiteboard here, so I'm just going to be taking notes. So go ahead and just unmute yourself as you have ideas. We don't need to be formal here, but just tell me, what are some of what would you say the main reasons are? And so, Deborah, you say finances. What does that mean to you?
Well, basically, a lot of people have dropped their LRP because they don't want to be committed to actually ordering every month. But at the same token, that was probably a couple of months ago. I've noticed in the last couple of months, everything is coming back again. So what I've noticed is by giving more education and more exposure and consistency on my Facebook has really ramped that up, and making more personal contact with my actual people that are on LRP and doing free wellness consults and updating their wellness protocol has switched it in my business.
Great. So thank you for that. Huey says economy. Could you tell us what you mean by economy?
Yeah, sure. Because there's a reduce in terms of people's finances and people's confidence of spending money and all that. So I think it has affected people's ability to purchase products and and do other stuff.
So I believe that the Australian dollar has weakened in the past few years. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we're going through a drought at the moment in Australia in terms of the economy. Our inflation's gone up quite high, and also interest rates, and people are struggling to actually basically pay for essentials like food and bills. Even my business clientele has dropped as well, numbers as well, coming for treatments.
Okay. Andy, I can come in with a Blue Diamond story.
Okay.
Where we had 75% contraction in our volume, 50% drop off of our client base, like the whole lot. We've had 5 years of a baptism of fire, probably the best way I can describe it, with the bushfires and everything that has rolled out ever since. Leaders that became distracted and became involved in other things. Terminations. Okay, so it's
what was that one?
Terminations.
Oh, okay.
As in end of business. Okay, and I want to say it's because doTERRA evolves, and when if we come back to us, when we don't allow ourselves to evolve because we're resistant to growth, it can be difficult to find where you fit when you don't also do the growth. That's my observation. Nothing to do with external forces. It's everything to do with the self and how they orientate the world around them. That's what I feel.
Powerful. Thank you. Okay. A couple of people have mentioned COVID in the chat. Let's see. Jackie says lack of consistency. And then she clarifies in policy adherence. So does that mean like compliance, or like from the perspective, Jack, or doTERRA corporate being inconsistent. I'd love to have you clarify what that means to you. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to put compliance there. Try to shorten that.
Yes. Sorry, I just pressed the wrong button to unmute myself, Andy, and I switched off Zoom. Yes, with regards to corporate and just some of the decisions, particularly over the last couple of years with regards to Australia, we've had a lot of changes, and the changes now are for the good. But during that COVID period, when it was the Wild West, and particularly just coming out of that period of time, some of my very dear good leaders have just gone to, you know what, this is not my value piece. And that's been really, really hard. They're coming back slowly, but it's been challenging and it's been exhausting to hold.
Great, thank you for that clarification. Okay, Tracy is saying lack of money, exchange rates, fear of LRP being hooked in. Maybe clarify what that means to you, Tracy. Not seeing the value, illness, death of loved ones, fear of future. Awesome. Okay, and then lack of vision and belief. Okay. Great.
Andy,
Yes.
that fear of LRP and being hooked in, I give people the option of the two ways to shop. So the standard shopping, where they pay shipping on all their orders, they don't earn any points, and people would rather choose that. I've got a girl who does every 6 months over every 2 months, between 400 to 600 PV, and she does not want to go on LRP.
Okay.
Mm.
So, like the idea that you can't cancel, like you're stuck with a monthly order.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Mm.
Okay. Perfect. Anything else? If you've experienced any kind of slowdown or shrinkage, if you could point it to one thing, keep adding in the comments.
I think money for me, and also mindset, clarity, and having too much on your mind, too much clutter.
Great. And when
Andy?
sorry, just real
Sorry.
quick. I think Huey, when you say money, tell me what that means to you. Just
Having an ability to have extra money to buy like essential oils for people who are on low income, and people were basically struggling, basically losing jobs and all that.
right.
People in transitions of work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right, and then who else was speaking there?
Sorry, hi Andy, it's Dawn. And I think, everything that PJ said, definitely a lot of people gave up. A lot of people just had enough and said, no, it's just getting too hard, I'm out of here. And just after COVID, I started running a couple of events, just trying to really reconnect the community. And that's one of the things that I've been really working quite hard on. Doesn't matter where they are, whose team they're in, I've been just trying to reconnect. And coming back from convention, it just reminded me of the amazing thing that we've got our hands on. So I think, as PJ said, it all comes down to us, how we're feeling, the message we're putting across. So we can get on top of all that other external clutter and noise.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Jody puts in the chat, it exposed our weakness that doTERRA was being treated by most customers as a luxury instead of an essential healthcare item. Beautiful. So I think that's mindset, but maybe we'll just call that, there could be priority, just the idea that can't afford it. One of the things that I've observed is the turnover of general managers in Australia. I don't know any other market that's had as many in a short time period. So that could be on the list. Tracy says the back office. Let's see. It looks like just technical issues with back office. We'll just put tech. Yeah. So, you know, when the when corporate changes so much, that can start to affect your belief in corporate. I actually heard from a different leader there in Australia that they didn't feel like headquarters believed in Australia. They felt sort of abandoned by corporate, you know, headquarters. Like maybe Australia wasn't a big enough market to really focus on, and like they had kind of, yeah, just abandoned that as part of the big vision. So I'm just going to put abandonment as that one. Yes, Jody and Paul and Vanessa. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Well, that is an excellent list. Thank you for offering your input on where you feel like we are and where we've been. So I'm so glad, PJ, you're loving the current team. I am too. I got to connect with Cody during convention, and yeah, just so proud of our current team. Okay, so I want to talk about mindset, and what I mean by mindset is kind of what happens in your head. What are your core beliefs, and what are the underlying the mindset, the belief levels that are happening in yourself versus kind of the mechanics of how we get things done. So when I say mechanics, I mean, like, do you teach classes? Do you build online? Do you offer a wellness consult to get people on LRP? Like those are all mechanics, right? That's all the nuts and bolts of how you build your business. So if I were to ask you what percentage of success is mindset and what percentage is mechanics, go ahead and put in the chat what you think. You know, would you say it's 50-50? Would you say it's, you know, 30-70? What's your take on that? Okay, I've got Leonie saying 90-10, Sophie is 100, Helen is 70-30, Don's 80-20. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I will share what Tony Robbins has stated. He says, in his opinion, success is 80% psychology or mindset and 20% strategy. And in my own personal experience, I would say it's potentially much higher, because I've seen people literally do the impossible with the least amount of means, with the least amount of influence, the least amount of capital, like literally create miracles from nothing. So I think it's at least 80% in my experience. So if that's true, then it's possible for us to shift our mindset about everything that we just wrote on this board. If it's true that that we actually have power to manifest outside of our bodies simply with the right mindset, then each of the things that we've listed here can be turned into a positive or into a reason why. So the way I framed the question was, these are the reasons we've struggled. These are the reasons we've shrunk. But I want you to now take a look at the list and ask yourself the question, in what ways is each of these a setup for success? How can these stumbling blocks become stepping stones? So, and feel free to unmute or put in the chat as you're getting ideas. I'll just give
Andy?
Yes.
Hello, Kimberly here. I'm coming from a different perspective from a few of the other people because I'm very new to doTERRA. I've been in it about 6 months. So I'm super excited, super passionate. I've been to Vietnam on an incentive trip. I signed up 21 people in my first month just through talking, and people say, oh my God, your passion just sells the product. And I'm sitting here going, oh, I don't notice the finances. Everyone here's just buying up large. I've now got a builder in my team. She's online today and she's amazing and she's going great guns. And I'm just looking going, but everyone's waking up to big pharma, so that's amazing. And, so I feel like I'm going, oh, COVID was a good thing because now people are turning towards natural medications. And that's just my take. And I don't know if it helps anyone. That's how I'm feeling. So, yeah, just...
Okay. So one really specific example you gave was COVID woke up a lot of people to the need, well, to some of the downsides of big pharma, and to some of the need for natural alternatives. So I love that. Thank you. That is a perfect example of turning what could be an excuse into a reason why. Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that, and congratulations on your growth. Okay, who can give us another example of turning one of these reasons why not, or an excuse, into a reason why?
I actually believe, oh, sorry, Jody. I actually believe that where we can remember that things happen for us, not to us. COVID happens for us. Terminations definitely happened for me. Restructuring, you don't want it, but sometimes we hold on to things a little bit too long than we need to.
So let's be specific. You mentioned terminations. How is that? How can we turn that into a reason to?
First, it was experiencing a huge loss and fear, so a feeling of fear. And I was like, okay, all this has done is pull back the truth. Even if I can't see that, this is the truth of the situation. And if this is the truth, it was probably going to happen, or even worse, if I'd if the thing had it was out of my control, but if that thing had festered, if that was the truth, that was the truth right now. Imagine if I was in the last week towards Presidential Diamond, for example, and that happened. So what I've come to is everything that happens has helped me become a better leader in more situations, more in crazy conditions. It's helping create the leader in me. Everything happens for you, not
so specifically how have terminations made you a better leader?
Yep. How the termination made me a better leader, I could see more clearly. And instead of being overly loyal to an individual that didn't have the same level of commitment, if you like, that's probably the nicest way to put it. It's not a very great experience, but anyway, that this made me realize, wow, okay, so this is the truth of the situation, and I've just got to come to terms with something that is outside of my control. And that going forward, this is only going to create strength in the team, and it has.
Beautiful.
Remember
Yeah.
Rachel?
Yeah, it sort of lets people sort themselves out, right? And so,
100%.
yeah, I love what Paul and Vanessa put in the chat. The terminations offer such a great clean out and clean up.
In 1 hour.
Beautiful. Jody, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, yeah. Hello. So I think doTERRA was born during the GFC, which says to me doTERRA was born out of really difficult times.
Mhm.
And so people had a financial need big time. And so I feel like now, like the success that, for example, Vanessa and Paul are having in Indonesia, for example, there's people who need the money before they are just luxury items for the product. Like, so they're leading with the business. And so I think leading with the business is probably a really powerful way for us to move forward at the moment, because there is actually a financial need. I mean, our business was halved, financially.
Absolutely.
After COVID, and a lot of things changed, but
Yeah. So could it be that pulling back, maybe a growing economy or an inflated dollar, peeling that back reveals what an incredible opportunity is that we have to offer people, and how priceless that opportunity is. Right? Awesome. I love that. And then, oh, that's great. I love that so much. Okay, what else?
Andy, I think it's the confidence that we need to get back in our own lives about the fact of what we've got our hands on from that financial perspective. And I just said to someone yesterday, I said, I'm going to be leading a lot more with the business instead of just what we can do for their health. We'll always do that, but we're forgetting that it's wealth as well as health.
Yeah, for sure. Can I share a quick story on that point? Natalie and I just hosted an amazing couple from Thailand over the past 4 days. And they built to the top of a company. They were, top distributors and making great income. And then the company had a lot of problems. One of their executives embezzled millions of dollars, and so all of the assets of the company got frozen. So there were no shipments going out for like 6 months. Eventually, the company had to do major restructuring. They got bought out by a private equity firm. And they're probably 10% the size they used to be. So this couple, their upline, many of them went to other companies and pursued other ways of creating teams and incomes. And many went to one company in particular, and this couple shared this graphic with us of their upline. So unfortunately, the company that these people partnered with did not have a real product. They, in fact, we took this couple on a tour of all of doTERRA's facilities here in Utah, and we walked into the the fulfillment center where we ship our products, and they literally had their finger on, the video record the whole time. Like for 45 minutes, it did not stop recording. And afterwards, I said, what did you like? And they said, I just love the fact that you have products in your warehouse. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And they said, well, this company that our former uplines joined, they had a warehouse, but they didn't have any products in it. So I know this is like shocking. I can't even imagine what that's like. But that's where people are putting their hopes, right? Like we have such an incredible business opportunity for so many reasons, right? But it took that experience to reveal to me how good we have it, and what an amazing tool we have to offer the world for financial healing, as well as all the other types of healing. So, just one little quick example of the opportunity that's out there. I don't know if any of you are following the latest news in direct sales, but Rodan and Fields, which is over $1 billion company, just eliminated their whole direct sales model, and they switched to an affiliate model. So they just abandoned their whole field of leaders. The same thing happened with Saint, SEINT, and it's also happened, with multiple other companies. I know that Jeunesse is struggling. They just terminated several international markets recently. I think Narwex just terminated their whole, I think it was Malaysia and Singapore team markets. So anyways, this is why we are so blessed to be where we are. Yeah, PJ, you're mentioning Tupperware. They completely terminated their direct sales model as well. And how well has that gone for these other companies? It ends terribly. It's basically a disaster is what that spells. But companies continue to choose to go that route. I know that Nu Skin is struggling right now. Their stock is it's in the toilet. And we have a daughter-in-law who actually worked there until last week, and she said it's a ghost town over there. So yes, we have so many reasons to offer hope and to offer belief. Give me some more examples of how these specific reasons why things have struggled are actually opportunities.
Andy, I'm just going to say something. Regardless of what has been, there is always what is in the future. And I don't know any other company that we have an opportunity every morning as we wake to reinvent, to re-educate, to expand our reach and our demographic and healing of the world. So we started, I didn't start a doTERRA business. I was a mum. I needed a kid to sleep. And Frankie and Lavender and then Balance changed our world literally within 2 weeks. We grew Blue Diamond Team, just selling, literally just making differences to other families like us. Like, it was incredible. And that little boy who needed those oils is in a couple of weeks' time stepping into his doTERRA business. And so regardless of what has gone on, there is always that next generation, because it is legacy. So regardless of the knocks, regardless of how I feel when I wake up on the other side of the bed of the morning, it is legacy. And you can't but look in your back office and see that growth, regardless of whether you're in the business for a week or you've taken a holiday. It sustains you. And we are so lucky. So that just keeps me going. Just knowing someone else needs it. So taking those oils into college now, into university.
Wow.
Like, it's a godsend.
It really
But
is.
that's my turnaround.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. It's easy to get disconnected from the why, the purpose that attracted us here in the first place, right? And so that's probably the next key point that I'd like to make is that, without a why, big things just can't happen. But with a why, and with, especially with a big why, then you become unstoppable. The why is what wakes us up early in the morning and keeps us up late at night and pulls us through those incredible struggles. Adish and Santoshi were mentioning as we got started, all the ups and downs that we've been through together and separately. And when you have a big why, then suddenly those little waves, the little bumps, they tend to even out and become less and less of the reason why not, if that makes sense. So,
Andy, could
yes.
I just jump in quickly?
Please.
Sorry. Thank you. I was speaking to Dr. Janet Rourke yesterday, holistic vet. You may know her. I don't know if you do
Her
or not.
name. Yep.
Yeah. And I feel this is super exciting for everyone. But she was saying, and I may get it slightly wrong with the numbers, but she was saying we're in a $3 billion industry, and it's predicted by 2030 we're going to have profits of 8 billion. So that's a big industry to tap into. That's in the works, coming our way.
Yeah, I mean the healthcare industry as a whole is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So the potential, and doTERRA, we quickly became the largest essential oil company in the world, and then we're like number 5 in terms of direct sales companies in the world. But that's not where we have our sights set. Like we see ourselves as we're here to heal the world, and so why would we stop anything short of that? And you're exactly right. The potential is literally limitless. And so no matter where you've been, up, down, sideways, like we're here now. And the potential is whatever you think it is. We brought on a new builder right as COVID started. It was actually the month before COVID started. And she lives here in Utah. And we didn't know COVID was coming. She had built her whole empire in Norwex, which is kind of a party model, as they call it. It's a class model, and you get people to host classes from your classes, and that's the whole. So we had a brilliant plan all laid out, and then COVID started, and nobody could hold classes. There was no gathering for years, and so that was shattered, right? It was not, and she was building in Utah, which a lot of people have the belief that Utah is saturated. There's no growth opportunity here. So she had all these things stacked against her. And currently she's a blue diamond. She has multiple diamonds on her team. She has 14 US Founder 2.0s on her team and about 400,000 a month in volume. So she embodies this concept of intention. Like she's 100% mindset and 0% mechanics. And so yeah, I think PJ, Amy Fulmer, and she has brilliant leaders just like her, across the team. Heather and Lindsay, like I could go on and on. There's so many. But the point is, it's because she has that mindset, all she sees is opportunity. So let me just ask each of you, I want you to imagine that you you've had every conversation in your life recorded. And not only conversation, but every thought recorded. And now you feed all of that, every conversation, every thought, into an AI engine, an artificial intelligence engine, and you ask that AI engine, if you could summarize my view of the world, what would it be? Is it generally positive? Is it somewhat positive? Is it kind of optimistic? Does it see the best in others? So I want you to take just a few moments and just do some journaling on, and maybe close your eyes if that's helpful. But just imagine that every thought, every word you've spoken is fed into this AI engine. And now you ask it, what are my core beliefs? Not based on what I tell people my core beliefs are, but based on everything I've actually thought, everything I've actually said. So go ahead and take a few moments and journal about that. If you haven't gotten some clarity on what your core belief is, then this is your first homework assignment to get clear. Take the time in journaling, in reflection, in meditation to crystallize what your core belief is. Some of you may have seen the movie Inside Out, and the sequel, Inside Out 2, does a beautiful job of capturing how all of our experiences, all of the feelings, they work together and coalesce into a core belief. And for better or for worse, this is kind of what runs our life. This is the operating room of the whole ship. And so it's worth our time to figure out what our core beliefs are. It's a worthwhile. So some people say that the only project that we're up to in network marketing is consciousness management. So getting clear on what is it that's really happening beneath the surface, because everything is energy, and you're constantly projecting this core belief, whether you know it or not, whether it comes through words or if it comes through feelings. And so take this project seriously. Now, what are some tools that we can use along the way? Let me just share a couple of those quotes that I think are worth sharing. The first one is that, oh, wow. Okay. The first one is basically, you can do what we've done here today anytime you want. You can replace your I can't list with how can I? So anytime you catch yourself saying those words or thinking those words or expressing those words, just let that be a signal in your mind. Oh, wait, there's another thing I could say. What is it? Oh, how can I? So, I can't buy the oils, or I can't get people to buy because the economy is so bad, because inflation is so high. The question is, how can I? How can I present the opportunity to a new customer in such a way that they can see a path to pay for the product? How can I see the opportunity, even in countries like, Indonesia, where the economics are completely different from what they are in Australia? And how can I magnify that into an opportunity, a life-changing opportunity? So those are a couple of slides. The other one, I couldn't get the graphic to work, but it basically says your business grows to the extent you do. Your business grows to the extent you do. And that's a quote by Jim Rohn. So, do I want my business to grow? If the answer is yes, then I get to grow myself. Do I want my team to grow? Then I get to grow. So you literally are the linchpin, you're the catalyst, you are what makes your business grow or not. So grow. My invitation is pay the price to grow. Now, what are some tools that we can use to manage this crazy thing that happens between our ears in all that gray matter? And I'd love to make this a mastermind, but Natalie will be training you tomorrow on one of our very favorite tools, and that's called the Essential Emotions book. So this is a very powerful tool to help you identify what the core belief might be. And there are 3 different pathways to find where the issue is. One is through your body. Did you know that your body is the greatest tool you have to help you find your limiting beliefs? Anytime you're experiencing pain or stress or anxiety or any, lower emotion, your body is basically throwing up a red flag and begging you to come take a look. Come dig a little deeper. Come look under the surface. And if you do, then it will lead you to a limiting belief that's worth examining. That it's an I can't that you could turn into how can I? So Natalie will be doing a deep dive on that tomorrow, and you're so privileged to be led by her. She's a great trainer. So that's one tool, and that's one path is the body. Another path is the oil itself. Maybe you have a certain oil that's calling to you. Maybe it's one that you just can't get enough of. You just want to have it with you in your purse, by your bedside all the time. Or maybe there's an oil that's repelling you. That can be another clue. There might be a message there that you're trying to avoid. So that's the second pathway. The third pathway is the emotion itself. So emotions can help us identify limiting belief. So Natalie will take you through that journey tomorrow. I'm not going to steal any of her thunder, but you're going to love what she has to share. So that's a powerful tool. Obviously, the way the Essential Emotions book works is it partners with the oils. And the oils are just the simplest but most powerful tool I know of to help us shift our mindset. I've literally watched people transform before my eyes by accessing these gifts of the earth. I truly believe that nature makes no mistakes and that you can't improve on nature. To quote Dave Sterling, you can't improve on nature. In fact, you shouldn't try. So partnering with the essential oils to amplify and accelerate your journey of consciousness management will be a great tool in your tool belt. But I'd love to hear from other people. Go ahead and put in the chat, what are some of your favorite tools for managing your mindset? You know, I think it's Jim Rohn who talks about stinking thinking. What are some things that you use to shift, to get to breakthrough? There's another process that I love. It's called The Work. It was developed by Byron Katie. You can go to thework.com and you can check out her incredible body of, years and years of asking 4 simple questions and then taking people through a turnaround. So she also has a book called Loving What Is. Highly recommend that. But I'm loving some of the comments here. Beach and nature walking. Joel Osteen every morning. Love it. Yeah. It turns out there's no one path to Zen, right? Like there's so many roads. And so the key is committing to your path, committing to your growth. I wouldn't get too married to one particular modality. Just commit to the journey. Yes, I love what the comments are saying. Exercise, prayer work, nature, gratitude exercises, service, going out and serving people, right? Sometimes I think we get so hyper-focused on ourselves. If we would just forget ourselves and get out and serve others, miracles would happen. A wise teacher once said that to find yourself, you must lose yourself. So, yes, sometimes it's hanging out with people, right? Creating a community of possibility people, light workers. That's one of the things I love most about doTERRA, is just being in companionship with people who are in the business of possibility. Yes, limit your exposure to negativity. Yes, so true. So powerful. Okay. And as I think somebody, it might have been Jackie, who was talking about, sometimes you might meet some negative people, but being willing to just move forward and keep looking for that next person, because someone is waiting. Some of you have heard the 4 SWs. Whenever you get a no or, a not yet, you just say the 4 SWs. So what? Let's see. Oh, wow.
Can I help
Please.
you out?
Yes.
Some will, some won't.
Some will, some won't.
So
Thank you.
what?
Someone's waiting. Yes, I'd missed the first 2, so I was like, okay, I know there's more than 2. Thank you for helping me out there, Jody. Yeah,
What was
some
that
will,
last
some
one?
won't.
Some will, some won't. So what and what?
Someone is waiting. Someone's waiting.
Got it.
Yep. Thank you so much. And this is why we have community, right? To help us out when our minds go blank. So, yes. Before I have one last story I'd like to share, but before I do, I wanted to ask if there are any questions, any blocks that you're facing that you want to talk through before we wrap up today.
I want to share the summary that I came to in that journaling exercise, Andy. And I know that there's a lot of people on here that have the same worldview that I do. And it's been challenging times. Let's not lie. It's struck nerves. And that is our stream of consciousness can be governed by our nervous system. So I've said, if you were to do the AI, if ChatGPT summarize PJ, you would see I'm a massive realist that believes the world is fallen and that those with a vision will constantly be attacked by the enemy. Rather than falling into this belief, we see that each time when we prevail, regardless of what we are called or how we are called to deliver, we are championing a message of hope. Our Creator ensures that we succeed. Faith and fear cannot coincide.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, what difference, like how much could it impact your life if you truly believed that failure wasn't possible? That the outcome is predetermined, that success is the only outcome. How would that change things? And I love how you've embodied that. Thank you so much, PJ.
Hey, Andy, it's Leonie. I think Leonie Hamilton, not Featherstone. I think for me, somewhere along the line in my life, I switched from being quite pessimistic to always looking for the upside. And so I find that if you can flick that switch in your brain to whatever hardships comes your way, to look at the upside of it, like being diagnosed celiac, saved my life. Getting breast cancer, saved my life. I'm so much healthier. I'm so much more vibrant. I have better beliefs, So if you can switch your thinking, and it just takes practice, I think, to switch it from the negative and the I can't, to what's the nugget I can find in here each day, whether you do a gratitude journal, whatever you do, but every day there'll be something to be grateful for and an upside to everything that happens.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
May I add something?
Please.
Oh, now I've gotten more nervous. I really like that. I think the other thing of turning a positive or negative into a positive, and for me, my journey, I was sort of just starting to share before COVID hit, and I've got very neurodivergent kids that ended up being homeschooled pre-COVID because they couldn't cope in the system. My upline all fell away, and I was on my own. I didn't have any help, and I still use the oils, but I didn't do much, didn't build or do anything else for a long time. But I managed to connect with the Daishin Santoshi this year, and finding people like an amazing upline, and the mentoring has been so amazing. And not long after I started with them, I thought we were all on an even keel here at home with my neurodivergent family, and it all fell apart. But I've stuck with it, and they've stuck with me and worked with me. And it's funny, the Essential Emotions book, because that was originally what changed my life. So I'm kind of trying to work with the struggles that we have of, I'm doing emotions. COVID, there are a lot of kids that are now are scared from school. There's anxiety, depression, and not everybody has access to things like the NDIS or therapists, and maybe they don't need that much support. But so I'm working on creating this community and trying to build, and I'm new to building. And my first workshop is kids and big amotions, and I'm using the kids kit, and we make aromatherapy Play-Doh and sensory, and I'm just starting it, but it's trying to take that negative of everything. I guess I'm trying to do that too. And then I could see naturally from that, for me, I've been doing Premier Club, that I could see for LRP, the supplements is the way to get people on it, because so many people take supplements from different brands, and that's, so okay, we're dealing with the kids' emotions, and we've got the emotions kit, Now let's look after mum, who's exhausted, and get her health right. So I don't know if that's any help, but this has really resonated for me. I mean, I've done a lot of personal growth with Edition Santoshi, and I can do whatever I want to do was what I manifested. And it reminded me when I was 13, I said to my mum, whatever I believe, whatever you want to do in life, you can. And she just said, no, you can't. And I said, I don't agree. She said, no, you can't. If you don't have these skills and you want to be a brain surgeon, you can't. And that shut me down until this year. And thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey and inspiring us with your story. Oh, what a gift to be here in this space, the space of possibility. I can tell that the fact that you're here, that you have chosen a higher way, that you have, each of you here on this call are choosing light, that you're not willing to settle for a lesser worldview, just accepting pessimism as it is the way it is. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, I'll just go ahead and wrap real quick. So in 2014, our son, Max, was playing with fireworks. He had an explosion. He ended up with third-degree burns on 40% of his body. And we had the doctor sit us down that day and ask us to prepare for the worst. He said, many people don't survive burns this severe and this extensive. So Natalie and I had a lot of conversations, a lot of reflection that day about what was next. And we had a peaceful assurance that transcends any kind of peace that comes from this world, knowing that it was all going to be okay. Whether Max lived or not, that it would be okay. And then fast forward, we actually felt we felt prompted in the next week to share fully our journey as it played out. And so we were very visible. We posted everything, the ups, the downs. And as a result of that, we received a huge backlash of criticism. We had people turn us in to the Child Protection Services. We had people post comments, that we had been negligent by using natural solutions. While Max was still in his coma, we had people post, it's probably better for him to die than for you to finish raising him as his parents. I had a hard time sleeping for the next few weeks because every noise I thought was somebody at the door, Child Protective Services coming to take away my children. And that was a real time of struggle for me personally. I actually protected Natalie from some of these comments and criticisms. But after a few weeks, I was really feeling alone and really, really struggling. And so I shared, with Natalie that we have been formally turned in to the Child Protective Services. And guess what her response was? She laughed. She literally laughed and just said, "Those freaking idiots." So what I had given so much energy to, right? This fear of loss, this fear of losing what was most special and sacred to me, which is my family. She just turned and laughed. And that was such a tribute to me of the power of mindset, the power of shifting something so dark and so negative instantly into something else. And it was really just straight up dismission. Like, she dismissed it. It was gone. It was nothing. She gave it no more power. And so my invitation to you today is to be that catalyst who can shift things that fast, who can be presented with darkness, with pessimism, with all the reasons why not, and choose to be an agent of hope, an agent of light. I truly believe that the little brown bottles hold liquid light, and that each of you is a messenger, and that you have a mission and a calling and a purpose which is greater than any of us can even imagine. And so my invitation is to choose your beliefs, choose your thoughts, create the mindset that is unstoppable, and that will make you unstoppable. Thank you so much for having me, folks. It's a gift to be together, and always a gift for me to connect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Amazing.
All right, sending blessings to you all. And if you haven't already registered for Natalie's, be sure to sign up for her emotional breakthrough session tomorrow. God bless.
And so, Andy,
Bye.
thank you. And we'll see you again real soon, I hope, in the
Yes.
new year.
We
Well,
look
I'll
forward
see
to
you
it.
real soon, but okie dokie. So everyone, thank Andy.
Thank you so much.
Have a great Christmas and what
Thanks,
have
Andy.
you. That was just so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just
Okay.
what we needed, Andy. Thank
Very
you.
powerful. Very powerful.